This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Noam Danenberg from Wize Pharma, publicly traded company. The symbol is WIZP. Noam, welcome to SNNLive.
Thank you for having us here.
It's great to have you on. So for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So just a little bit about Wize Pharma. Wize Pharma is, as you mentioned, publicly traded. It's a biomed platform focusing on developing of drugs for ophthalmic disorders. Company has been around for about 2 years. We're traded for 2 years. Our base is in Israel, coming very often to the United States, and planning to have a firmer base over here.
So let's get a history of the company. So you said it started about 2 years ago, right? So how did you develop to where you're currently at today?
Okay, so we started actually, we have been public in Israel, publicly traded in Israel, and reverse merged into a public shell on OTC. We've been around, as I said, on the OTC for about 2 years. The company pipeline, basically, we have, as I said, we're focusing on developing of special drugs for ophthalmic disorders. We created around the company a sort of what I would like to call as the A-team. Team of experts, Professor Joseph Tauber, Professor Pennias Bell, based in the United States, all with world repute. Professor Belkin from Israel, who is the head of the ophthalmic division in Tel Shomer Hospital. And we've just been recently honored to have as our new chairman, Mark Sikarik, who is one of the top people from Bausch & Lomb, formerly. The company has a pipeline of actually 2 products and 1 product that we're intending to in-license on in a new direction. So.
All right, cool. So I want to know now for the company, what about it makes it unique and different in the marketplace? Some of the products that you have in development and you're looking to in-license.
Okay, so I'll start with our lead product, which is LO2A. That's a drug that was originally developed to treat dry eye syndrome. Dry eye is a huge indication, anywhere between 16 to 30% of the market. The drug was developed by Professor Shabtai Dikstein out of Israel, who actually took it all the way to actual distribution, manufacturing, distribution, etc. The drug is already being sold in 4 countries in Europe. It's the #1 best-selling drug in those countries. So basically we entered the picture where a lot of pitfalls on usual biomed companies, we kind of skipped a lot of pitfalls as far as manufacturing, CMC, etc., and even we had the market perception of the drug, because in all those 4 countries it's the #1 best-selling drug. In Switzerland it's actually, according to IMS reports, has over 50% of the market. So we're looking at a very, very promising drug. The story actually became even more interesting when the inventor carried out 2 pilot studies on this drug and demonstrated a very high potency to treat cases of severe dry eye, mainly Sjögren syndrome, which is actually the holy grail in the industry. The companies that are controlling the market right now are so-called being used off-label to treat Sjögren syndrome. So the inventor carried out those studies and demonstrated on human results on Sjögren syndrome. That's roughly where we entered the picture, and we in-licensed the product with a clear plan, a development program to actually register these drugs specifically for the indication of Sjögren syndrome in the United States. We've carried out 2 studies, phase 2 clinical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled, multi-centered in Israel. One of them has been just recently published. The results have been published for a severe dry eye case, again, an inflammatory case associated with dry eye, which is called conjunctival chalasis. Currently has no treatment other than surgical procedure. We demonstrated actually statistical significance on a mixed model approach. We are looking forward to get the results for Sjögren syndrome study towards the end of the year. So getting back to your question, the advantage here is that it's not a typical standard drug development program where you have a lot of risk. At the end of the day, it's all risk management. So there's some of the risk we've already skipped. And actually, when we entered the picture, we already saw results in human, which was quite intriguing. So that's actually our first drug.
Do you have any other drugs that are currently in the pipeline?
Yes, we do. We have an ongoing joint venture that we recently announced with Cannabix, CNBX, also publicly traded on OTC, coming out of Israel, specializing basically in research of cannabinoids' effects on cancer. We are developing with them a certain eye drops in combination with cannabinoids. Another thing that we are recently consumes a lot of our time, we are looking to acquire another gene therapy asset, which we're very excited about. I don't know yet if it's going to happen or not, but we hope it does. Gene therapy, usually to test whether gene therapy is effective or not, the eye is a very favorable organ to try gene therapy. So we're going to start, if this deal comes through, to investigate and research on this particular asset in ophthalmology, and if everything works, we will decide later on if we're going to keep it in-house or start to out-license other indications which are not ophthalmic, non-ophthalmic indications to other companies out there.
And what's your background? I mean, how did you come into all this?
Okay, so I'm investing actually in startup businesses for almost 30 years. I'm actually older than you. Actually, I am. So almost 30 years. Biomed, I started investing in Biomed in 2012. Actually had a few very interesting deals in my background. Not so many, because at the end of the day, it's only 6 years, but that's when I started. And Wize Pharma is actually the first time that I'm doing it, taking it public.
And then
in the United States, sorry.
And Noam, for more information about the company, where can our audience go and find everything they need to know about Wize Pharma?
So obviously on the stock market on Edgar or on our website, www.wizepharma.com. We have a very self-explanatory investors page where you can follow all the press releases, the video shows, and
my name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me again has been Noam Danenberg from Wize Pharma, publicly traded company. The symbol is WIZP. Noam, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much.